Hey guys, how are you? Good evening. I am coming to you live once again from the place I do all my skincare, my bathroom. So tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about exfoliation. We've talked a lot about cleansers and changing out your product. So tonight, let's talk a little bit about exfoliation. I'm going to break it up in a few different lives, like all the different kinds of exfoliation, because there's a lot to talk about. But tonight I want to take care of talking a little bit about a very popular product. Now, normally I refrain from really talking about products in particular, like ones that come from specific companies, but I know this one in particular is really popular. A lot of people have it, so it is worth talking about. And that is the Clarisonic scrubber brush. This is the Clarisonic. There's a lot of different varieties of this guy that are out there, but they all pretty much work the same. This scrubber brush, if I'm remembering correctly, was one of Oprah's favorite things way back in like 2007, and I used to pray so hard to try to get an Oprah's favorite thing ticket, and it never happened. So Oprah, I'm just saying, you might want to send me a little something to compensate. Not really asking, but I'm asking. Anyway, so ever since I saw that show, I immediately went and got one and really fell in love with it, and I've had one ever since. So scrubber brushes, really convenient, really helps with manual exfoliation, kind of saves your hands. So the brush is really doing all the work. So a few things to remember with it, for this particular one, the brush head is removable. So I just got one, a brand new one. It comes in this little box, just like this. And each box has about 2 heads in it. I don't know if you guys can see it. This is one, this is 2. So that's usually how this comes packaged. And so I have a brand new brush that I put onto here. So this is ready to go. I have it a little bit moist. I put a little bit of water on there to wet the brushes a little bit, and it's ready to go. So I'm just going to get ready to get started to use it. A couple of things, whether you have a brand new brush right out the box versus, one that you've had on the machine for a little bit, there's definitely, rules to care for your brush. The last thing I would ever want anyone to do is to use a dirty brush on their skin, because it kind of defeats the whole purpose of cleansing your skin if you're just scrubbing the dirt right back on in. So since I have a new brush, I'm popping it on, wetting it with water, I'm going to go ahead and get started. But say this is a brush that I've had for a little bit, like a couple weeks, and I'm about to use it tonight. What I would do is really take an extra step to cleaning it. Like I said before, when you're using this, of course, some dead skin cells are going to accumulate on it, and it's doing its job. It's scrubbing extra layers of dirt, getting rid of some, dead skin, some flakes. And even if you rinse it out and scrub it out at the end of each use, you still have some debris in it. So I recommend that pretty frequently, technically, after every use, you're supposed to do this. In reality, is everybody going to do that? Probably not, but you really should do it after every use. Take the little head off, drop it into like a little plastic container with a 50-50 mix of hydrogen peroxide and water. That will really clean this up and get rid of the debris that gets stuck in it, okay? So that's just a general rule of thumb for keeping this thing clean, so that every time you use it, you're using a nice clean brush on your skin. So remember yesterday in live I said that I changed out my cleansing product, so I'm going to use my cream cleanser and just apply that on my skin. And there's so many different ways to do this. Some people like to put the cleanser right on the brush. I like to put my cleanser on my face and then go in with the brush. Alright, so once that's on there, I'm just going to go in with a brush, and, again, this brush is doing a lot of work for you, so don't push it down into the skin. You don't need to do that. Just apply it on, let the brush do the work, and And this has a little timer on it. I like to kind of go 2 times with it. Some people do 1, that's just fine. I like to use it twice. So while I'm doing this, and no big special secret here, not rocket science, just go ahead and use it all over your face. It's just substituting for your hands. So while I've got this going on, let's talk a little bit about some questions that have come through on my DM. I'm going to go ahead and answer a couple of those right now. One was a question that came up based on a live that I did before with regards to the lashes. And so I did mention that, it's really important to clean mascara off your lashes every night, because eventually it gets dried on, baked on, caked on. And being that eyelash hairs are super delicate and it's located in the eye, which has super delicate skin, it's very vulnerable. So they're very easy to fall out. Like lashes in general, have a normal hair fallout cycle. But when you put some added stress onto it, you're going to speed that process up and you're going to start noticing like some hair loss in your lashes. So yes, it's really important to kind of gently take the mascara off every night, just so you're not having something hard sitting on those lashes, getting baked on, putting on that extra weight and that tension. And then imagine now you have a baked on lash and you're going to bed, if you're sleeping on your face, on your side, tossing and turning, that's even more tension. You want to refrain from that. So, yep, that's the reason why I say it's super important to clean those lashes off. I know it was like chit-chatting a little bit, so I went through another cycle. But next question that I had was, do dark circles ever really go away? Dark circles, there's a lot. I probably need to do a couple of lives when it comes to dark circles. I suffer from them my darn self, so I'm not immune to it. But, there's a couple things. Dark circles are an indication of like something may be wrong with your health or something may be off. It's an indication of maybe you haven't drank enough water, your nutrition is not on, and then also a lot of it's hereditary too. And sometimes it has to do with not getting enough sleep. So it all depends on exactly what's causing it, and that will determine exactly what course of action you need to take. I mean, there's, a lot of different treatments. There's like laser treatments, there's injectables, there's ultrasound treatments, there are topical creams you could put on to help with it. So again, it really all depends on exactly what's causing the dark circles in order for someone like myself, like an esthetician, to determine exactly what we need to do to kind of break those dark circles up. For me, I have a 50-50 mix of a little bit of hereditary, but also it's a very clear indication that I didn't get enough sleep last night. So if I check the box and say, yeah, I drank water, I check the box that, yeah, I've been eating my veggies, I'm eating a balanced diet, then I can probably look at it like, oh, okay, it's probably something having to do with sleep. And there are a couple of treatments that we do with the Skin Lab that helps break those dark circles up, and at the same time helps get rid of puffiness around the eye area. So there's definitely some stuff that we could do in the lab to help break that up once I've checked off certain things that is not happening, and that's outside of like my purview. Again, if there's something that looks like it's a little bit suspicious, I can't really do anything with the stuff that we do at the lab, then I'm happy to easily say, hey, you need to go see your doctor or your PCP to help figure out exactly what's going on. And, I'm not sure if I mentioned this before, but there is a network of dermatologists and plastic surgeons in the lab's network that we work with and trust. So if we need to kind of send you off to one of the docs, I'll definitely be able to provide you with some recommendations of who to see in your area. So that was really it when it comes to Clairsonic. And actually, I don't know if you guys could see, I do see that, a very brand new brush has a little bit of dirt on it. So now this is technically a used brush. I'm going to dump it into that 50-50 mix in that little bucket. Again, you don't have to get fancy. Just take a little Tupperware dish or something like that. do 50% hydrogen peroxide, 50% water, and drop it in there. Let it soak in there. Once it's done soaking, you go ahead and rinse it out with a little soap and water and get that clean. Let it air dry as well. So that's what you need to do before your next use when it comes to these rotating brushes for cleansing. Tomorrow, we're going to move on to toning. And I do have a lot of nice information when it comes to toning. Got some samples to show you as far as different kinds of toners out there. So we'll get into the toning step of the night routine tomorrow. And I'm hoping to have a nice list of night oils based on the conversation we had a couple of nights ago as well. So check me out tomorrow. See you guys. Hey, let's see, No Love Self. Hey, thanks for joining. If you have questions, go ahead and DM me and I'll be happy to take care of them tomorrow in tomorrow evening's live. Bye, guys.